guys. First question, just with you guys having a couple of point guard injuries queued for JJP, just what did you guys see that allowed the passing lanes to be open early and often today?
I'll say we just trusted each other, trusted in moving the ball. We tend to harp on that in practice. Coach tends to harp on that. Just continue to move it, trust each other, and when we do, we're really good, and it shows. So that's how things open up for us, and with our mindset, just coming in the game, swinging it, passing it, and moving as well without it.
You guys, how tough is it to stay focused when you build a lead like that in the beginning? Because, Winthrop did come back a little bit, and every team makes a run, but just talk about how maybe challenging it is to stay on your game.
I wouldn't say it's challenging. But I would say when you're having like a large lead, you start to like kind of like slip away on like being really like hard on like defense and like on like doing the little stuff like boxing out and all the the little stuff that win games. That's what I would say.
I would say it can become challenging because you just think the game is over sometimes, and I wouldn't say necessarily us or our team, but some players and people, certain teams, they will tend to think they're up 20 or 30 in the first half, 19 minutes left of the second half, and they're up 20, and they think the game is over, and it's not. So people will get lazy, lollygagging, or careless with the ball, and that's how leads tend to be cut into. So that's another thing we try to stay away from as well.
Jada, you tied your career high today with 8 assists, and even coming into the season, you were someone that averaged nearly 5 at Miami of Ohio. Do you feel like your passing ability sort of flies under the radar, considering how well you can score at times?
Honestly, yes, I do. I do think it goes under the radar, but I don't mind it. I'm used to that and things being under the radar coming from myself. So I like the challenge. I believe it's a challenge, and I take it on. So I like when things are not seen or shown yet in my game. It's more of a one-up for me.
This is for either of you. You guys have been at home for over a month. You're 7-2 on homestand, which is great. But now you actually go on the road. You go to Duquesne. You open your A10 schedule. What's it like now to actually have to travel again and not only do that, but to do it after a break, like a holiday break, and then to open to A10 action at the same time?
To be honest, I'm excited to play away because it's been 7 home games. So for me, I'm excited and I'm just ready to start conference.
I'm as well. I'm excited, and it's going to be interesting just to see as soon as we get back just how our flow and practice and our chemistry is. But me knowingly and knowing our team right now as of what we are, I believe we're going to be fine.
It's going to be nice to get away from these guys a little bit.
It will. We're all new. It's not like we've been here 4 years, 3 years, and we've done the break and go back home 2 years in a row, But, I mean, yeah, you could say that. It would be nice, but we love on each other and love each other, gel together, chill together. So it's not really, that's not our thought process, I don't think.
Quincy, considering the deficit you guys had last game, down by 16 points in the first 10 minutes, how important was it to come out with a good start and sort of not have any kind of letdown against Winthrop?
Because last game when we were down in the beginning, we had to strive to score. I feel like we were struggling on defense that game too. So coach was just saying, come out and just punch them from the jump. I feel like that's what we did, and that just like helped throughout the whole game, having that lead.
Just curious, every player here practically is not from Pittsburgh. They don't have a lot of tie to Duquesne. How much do you guys think as the season goes on about how important it would be to maybe pull this program into a situation where you're making a run at the postseason? It hasn't happened here lately much in terms of the NCAA tournament. We're still early in the season, but is that something you guys have kind of thought about in the back of your head? Does that drive you a little bit? Because right now you're 10-3.
Yeah, so we have an all right record right now. We're all right, but to piggyback off that, that is our goal. I believe that's everyone's goal on our team to make that NCAA tournament, that dance, and win this A10 championship. So those are our high major team goals, brotherhood goals that I believe everyone has in the back of their head and have set. But our record and how we've been playing, we try, I believe, not to let that affect us. More importantly, just continue to go out there and play our game and our style of play.
As much as we've talked about bouncing back, just how much exciting was it just the opening stretch, just finding each other in transition, the extra pass, just pushing each other to find a higher, better, consistent level?
You got it.
When everyone's just touching the ball, scoring, and when everyone's involved, making good plays, I feel like that's like team basketball. I feel like that's when everyone's happy, when everyone's contributing for the win, and that's what we're doing. Everyone was touching the ball, everybody was scoring, everyone was making good plays, and I feel like that would brought all of our energy up when everyone's doing plays, not just one or two people, the whole five.
Kind of play off what Dave asked earlier, but you guys are finished last in the A10 this year. How much is that a driving factor for you guys as you head into the A10 schedule to prove everything else wrong?
It's a big drive. It fuels our fire. It puts our tenacity to an all-time high because we take it as disrespect, to be honest with you, and it's fine. Rankings mean nothing. Our team knows that, so does our coaching staff. So we just go out there and play our way, just like I have mentioned, man. We go out there, play our game, play our way, stick to our defensive principles, and however that outcome and our results come out from our work that we've done before the season is how it plays out.
When I seen them rankings early on, I just laughed. I didn't get mad or anything. I just started laughing because I knew, like, when I practiced with the team, that we'd be way better than that. So I already knew what was going to happen. Still have a long way to go, but.
Thanks, we'll have coaching here in a minute. Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Thank you, guys.
Credit. While I'm not really satisfied with, 2 home losses, our guys have hit a lot of adversity. We've missed a lot of games with a lot of people. And the next man up mentality has been really good with this group. So while it's not great in the short term sometimes, it's really good in the long term because guys are developing. And I thought we were, again, you know me, I'm always going to keep it as honest as I could be. I thought we were really good in the first half and just mediocre in the second half, but that's maturity. We have to try to play like the score 0-0 on every possession. And until we do that, we're not going to be a championship quality team, which is really what we want to be.
Considering the injuries and everything like that you have right now, you probably have a pure point guard as such at this point. It's time for a week-long break to kind of get away from it, let these guys get a little bit healthy before you visit Dayton.
Well, it's not going to be a week-long break. It's going to be a 2-day break. So that's the hard part about this job. And for the players is they had no Thanksgiving and they basically have very little Christmas, which is hard, but we all sign up for it because this is what we love. So we need a little break. I mean, obviously we need to get some guys healthy. You know, when you really consider we got 3 out of our top 9 guys hurt, which, you know, but the good thing is we're versatile enough to withstand it. You know, Matoush, Quincy McGriff, Trey Clark, Day Grant, they all handle the ball reasonably well. So it allows you to withstand not having a real true point out there. And in some ways it helps you because you become a little bit bigger, you can contest shots, but we're better when we have the other two.
Keith, as a follow to that, as it relates to Quincy, 1 turnover in 32 minutes, just how much did that work of allowing him to run that point earlier in the season really start to build that familiarity piece that he had today?
Well, he's been primarily a point guard most of his life. You know, in junior college he wasn't, but he's got good ball skills. He's got good instincts. He didn't practice yesterday at all, so he's playing on a bad knee too. So I give him a lot of credit for just toughing it out and come to his teammates' defense over the last 2 games. He's been pretty banged up. So I really like where he's at right now. I told our guys as a group I thought we were about 60% of what we could be down the line. You know, we're still newborns really, right? And I think Q might be about 50%. That's how talented a guy he is. So, you know, that's a compliment. It's not negative. It's just how talented the guy is. He did a good job. You know, he can play better than that too, I think. As he gets in better shape, better condition, better body fat count, I think you'll see a different type of player.
So did you see you guys letting up when Winthrop came back? Is that what you were talking about?
I don't know if they let up, but like you have to have tremendous maturity not to take every play seriously. You know, every play matters. Okay, I'm not going to get beat on the drive. I'm not going to give up a 3. I'm going to take a better shot on offense. I mean, it's a tricky thing. You know, like I told Trey Clark after the game, I said, Trey, like those gambles are good, but they're also bad. So I said the gamble in the full court's a little bit better than the gamble in the front court because we can recover from that. But you don't want to take that away from him, too, because he's good at it. You know, he won the last game with it, really. And Day the same way. We talked about, hey, just trying to improve his shot selection, becoming more efficient. But he busted the game open. So it's a double-edged sword sometimes. It's just understanding. And you know, I thought as a whole we got to move the ball better than that once we got up.
Coach, Reese and Williams only combined for 9 field goal attempts, despite on paper, the size advantage you have inside. Was that just more of just the guards were hard open early on and allowed you to get a key lead, or is that sort of emblematic of different games, different people's going to be able to have a good game?
We talked about that after the game as well. You know, first off, Reese had foul trouble. So, you know, once you put him back into the game, then it's a different type of a game at that point. But we have to do a better job of getting him the ball. Williams had some foul trouble as well in the second half. But we have to become a little more balanced, especially when we go boom, boom, boom. Now, that doesn't mean we got to go boom, boom, boom on the next one. We need to throw it inside some. And I thought Reese and Williams kicked the ball out in the first half well. So we got to do better. I think there's not many teams throwing the ball to the block anymore like they did. He's a good player. You know, we did a really good job, I thought, keeping the ball out of there in the first half and not such a good job in the second half. Not to change questions, but we needed to do the same thing they did.
Speaking of foul trouble, you had 3 bigs in the first half. I would say halfway through had 2 fouls each, but you were still able to have David Dixon and Trey Williams out there. Do you, because of the depth, do you have your bigs play more physical than they necessarily would normally compared, especially last year, or is that just they just happen to randomly get the foul?
I thought we just randomly, but we can be aggressive, obviously. You know, we got to do a better job of walling up around the rim so we don't get fouls. Those are hard calls for referees and players. You know, some nights you don't get them. You know, we have to be disciplined. I thought Trey Williams lost his discipline on a couple. I thought Chabi was pretty disciplined, you know, but he still got foul calls. Dixon, you know, the good thing about our team is we have 1 million of them. So because we have a million of those post guys, we can withstand what happened to us. We didn't have to play small. We could still play big. And then you add RJ to the mix, and it becomes even better for us.
Coach, you said you didn't want to look too far ahead. Well, now look ahead now. You're going back on the road. You're starting your A-10 schedule. Where do you see yourselves heading into the A-10 into conference play?
I mean, we got a lot of work to do. I mean, again, we're so new, but like, I think by the middle of February or so, like, we can be a force to be reckoned with if we can improve. That's a big if. Like, what happens from now until the end of the year will determine who the best teams in the league are. Who can improve? Who has enough upside to improve? There's some teams that can't get that much better, right? They are what they are. You know, they don't have as much upside. I feel like we're still we're like a half painted painting. You know, we're still figuring it out, and partly because we've had to play so many different. Like, our mojo's weird because we played without the little guy, we played without Reese, we played without RJ. So I feel like if we can blend it, which isn't going to be easy either, right? Because now you have miserable guys because none of them are getting enough minutes, right? If we can blend it and care about winning and then find the right, like, mix of how we play, then I think we could be pretty good. But it's going to take time. I mean, there's no question because, again, you know, we got guys out.
Considering where the coaches picked you to finish in the A-10 before the season, do you guys take offense to that and use that as a motivating factor at all?
I personally don't. I mean, nobody knows who in the hell's got who. You know what I mean? Like, the way the portal is now. You know, the only thing is, you know, they always say that past, you know how they say in the stock market, past performance is not an indication of future performance. In coaching, it is sometimes. Like, if a guy's always won, eventually they may have a bad year or two, but eventually they're going to win again. I don't think guys just lose their cookies, right? Some guys win and some guys lose, right? You know, so I think our guys don't like it, which is good. And they're motivated. The key is going to be how tight the group is. Because, again, like, we play 4 out of 6 on the road to start in the A-10. That's not an easy task. And then we play at home. So can we withstand the 4 out of 6? That's going to be the big deal.
Is this as good a non-conference schedule as you've played since you've been here? And if so, were you satisfied with a number of teams maybe being A-10 caliber teams?
I think it's a hard schedule. I think the numbers don't lie. Like, you got a lot of, like, 105s, 106s, 107s, 83s. You know, if a team's a 105, they're generally pretty good, right? I mean, those numbers pretty much indicate what kind of team you have. I think it's fairly accurate for the most part. Now, the matchups and how teams play will also determine whether you win, right? So, for instance, you play VCU, you know you're going to get pressure. Can you handle the pressure? You play Richmond, you know they're going to run the Princeton stuff. Can you guard the Princeton? You play Davidson, you know they're going to run the motion. They have good players. Can you guard the motion? Because a lot of the teams we've played have been basic ball screen teams, which is how the game's kind of moved to. So we're going to have to learn on the fly a little bit. But I think the one thing we have, which hasn't really played out yet, is we have rim protection. We have multiple rim protections, which is going to help us when push comes to shove, if we can get better.
Keith, I would be remiss not to ask, obviously, earlier this week, Kevin and you guys separated. He's going to seek another avenue. Just what do you think of the time he had last year deciding to come back? And obviously, without getting too specifics, just your thought on what he was able to put in this year-plus year.
First off, I like Kevin. He graduated. You know, he did what he had to do academically, and at that point, he has a choice to make, right? And, you know, when you get suspended for 7 games, it's a grind to get back to where you want to be. So, like, I understand it. Young people have to make choices. That's a choice he made, and I respect the choice he made. I don't have to agree with it, and I'm not saying I disagree or I do agree, but you know, it's up to him. Once you graduate, it's up to him. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great Christmas.